Yeah. Two. Yeah. Aye. I'm jacking the beat, you calling the cops, the yapping is cheap, I call you the ops, the rapping is heating, it's all cause of pop, you get a leak for the ball, get a drop, feel like I'm wrong when I double it back, cause I'm making it harder to catch that, but I covered the ticket, I call you to visit, you tipping and hit up the cash app, baby girl been round for it, yeah, in the old days, I was stuck in old ways, never really trying to flip the old page, young man tripping at an old age, thinking I was flicking, had a low wage, led the bro days, then a slow praise, thinking it'd be different, it would gon' change, then it really didn't, it's a cold game, yeah, ayy, all I really wanted was the money in the pocket, got over money, but the money ain't the topic, like Bill Doe and the money gotta stop it, kid need food and the whip need juice, I'ma get these views when the
Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't much in common. I set a goal for me, 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner, Dale, back in the saddle again for another edition of the Counter Move podcast here on Thursday, guys, here at 8:30 p.m., guys. Man, good to see you, man. Hope you guys had a good week, man. I've had a pretty good week. If you could, guys, do me a favor. If you could, like, share, and subscribe. And if you, no matter what platform that you're on, if there's a little bell there, if you do me a favor, click on that bell so when you do it, when I come live, you come kick it with your partner, guys. This is going to be a good one, guys. Real quickly, guys. Good. We're going to dive in this real quickly. Let's dive into topics today, man. Today, real quickly, guys, we're going to talk about, man, there was a rate cut this week, guys, from your boy, Fed Chairman Powell, who is trash. And there's a war between him and Donald Trump. Man, we're going to dive into that thing. Number 2, is there a foreclosure surge going on when it comes to real estate, guys? Is there housing market issues? Yes, it is. And I'm going to talk to you about what people are not talking about concerning these issues. Number 3, guys, money stress and prenups, guys. I did something on prenups last week. Guys, I may have changed my mind on prenups from a biblical standpoint. Don't you worry, man. Your partner got you. And lastly, guys, we're going to talk about, man, the truth about building wealth, man, concerning really what's going on with these rates, as well as these foreclosure surges, as well as when it comes to money stress, guys. Let's dive into this first topic real quick. Let me get my iPad ready real fast. This first topic, guys, real quickly, man. Man, Trump versus Powell. This has been an issue for a long period of time. President Trump has been very vocal about his disdain for Chairman Powell, and Chairman Powell has been very quiet from a verbal standpoint, but in my opinion, loud in his actions of his disdain for President Trump. So, but there was a rate cut this week, a rate cut. We're going to hear the chairman talk. Then we're going to see what the mainstream media has to say. Then we're going to bring in an investor, right? Who's going to talk about it as well also. And we're going to hear from another person as well to talk about the effects of this, right? And I'm going to give you a solution that you can do, right, for this segment because of these, when it comes to the federal chairman and these rate cuts. Let's dive into this real quickly. Let's listen to Chairman Powell talk about he's the most boringest chairman history of mankind. This guy, when he talks, man, I want to go to sleep. But here's Chairman Powell talking about the rate cut. Here we go. Real Lord, here we go.
In support of our goals and in light of the balance of risks to employment and inflation, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point. We also decided to conclude the reduction of our aggregate securities holdings as of December 1. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a moderate pace. GDP rose at a
Boring, man.
1.6% pace in the first half of the year, down from 2.4% last year. Data available prior to the shutdown show that growth in economic activity may be on a somewhat firmer trajectory than expected, primarily reflecting stronger consumer spending. Business investment in equipment and intangibles has continued to expand, while activity in the housing sector remains weak. In support of our goal.
Okay. Yeah, he is the most boringest, guys. He is so boring. He really is. I can't listen to him. He talk about a bunch of nothing. He said the same thing all the time. They cut the damn rates. Okay, yeah, quarter point. That'll do nothing for nobody at all. It's a waste of time. He needs some milk. He needs some milk, guys. It's real simple, guys. All right. Now, let's dive in real quickly, guys. Let's bring in, right, some experts. Now, you've heard the most boringest chairman of all time, him talk about these rate cuts. Let's bring in what the mainstream media is actually saying when it comes to these rate cuts, right? Let's see what they're saying about it and how the markets are responding to this rate cut. I'm not really excited about any of this at all, but let's see what the market is saying about it real fast. I'm gonna do it this way. Boom. And now I bring it up. Here we go. Let's dive to it real fast. Here we go.
So the Federal Reserve has now cut rates again, third meeting in a row, a 25 basis point cut this time. There were three dissents to this cut. First time there were three dissents in about 6 years, since September of 2019. In this meeting, Stephen Myron dissented because he would like to see a 0.5% cut. And then on the other side of this, Kansas City Fed President Jeff Schmidt, as well as the Chicago President Austin Goolsbee, wanted to keep pause.
Now, Austin Goolsbee, guys, he is I want to be fair. He's an economist, but he really leans on the liberal side, and that's fine. And that's cool because you have some conservatives who want too. But I'm familiar with Austin Goolsbee because he used to be on Fox News all the time, which is fine. No worry about it at all. But here we go.
Rate cuts where we are right now. The Federal Reserve is signaling in the dot plot they're looking for one rate cut in 2026 of 25 basis points and one rate cut of 25 basis points in 2027. And
hold on. Wait a minute. This is the first time that I've seen this one, guys. So let's look at this real fast, Al. Let's look at this. Let's go back and see what he actually said real quickly, and I want to follow this. Here we go.
Reserve is signaling in the dot plot they're looking for one rate cut in 2026 of 25 basis points and one rate cut of 25 basis points in 2027, and that's it. The Fed.
So hold on. So the Fed, these Bamas are saying that they're looking for one rate cut in 2026. That's it. And then one rate cut in 2027. What these Bamas smoking on? What is this? And we talk about guys, a quarter of a basis point, which is nothing. It's nothing. These guys is trash, man. What is going on here? Keep listening.
It's signaling that it's within now 0.5% of what they believe its neutral rate. The Fed upped the GDP projections for this year to 1.7%, ending the year next year at 2.3%, and then back to the 2% target in 2027, 1.9% in 2028. Now, on unemployment, the Fed sees the rate rising to 4.5% this year and falling back to the current level next year, and then falling to 4.2% in 2027 and 2028. On inflation, the Fed sees CPI inflation up 2.9% this year, then falling back 2.4% in 2026, 2.1% in 2027, 2% target by the end of 2028 for PCE inflation. The core inflation follows the same path, 3% end of this year, 22.5% for 2026, and 2.1% for 2027. The Fed says
that's great. Oh, that's wonderful. These Bamas is talking. These Bamas is talking about having one rate cut in 2026 and one rate cut in 2027 alone, just two, and the total per cut is 0.25%. That makes no damn sense. Like, where are they getting this information from? Where are they getting this data from? They come with these projections. It don't make no damn sense. Like, are they purposely trying to destroy the economy? Like, what is going on here? This is, man, fire all these Bamas. What is this? What is this? Am I tripping? How y'all know? What the hell is going on here? Man, I am not happy about this at all. Two rate cuts, one in 2026 and one in 2027. Based on what damn data? Not a damn thing. Your own opinion. Y'all trash. Y'all garbage. We need some people, man, that don't pretend to do business. All these pretenders, all these theorists that are running the government, get their asses out. We need real world people in these government agencies that know how to run a damn business, balance a balance sheet, right? Read an income statement. What is this? Ain't none of these bankers had a real damn job. None of them. All these government ass workers. Your whole experience is working in the damn government. What is this? That's trash, man. Y'all, I'm sorry. I can't stand dumb stuff, man. It's just stupid. People are dumb. No damn sense, man. Let's bring in somebody else. Y'all got. Y'all. This is. Boy, I tell y'all something, man. All right, now let's bring on the liberal side. The liberal side of the media. That was Fox. Let's bring in CNBC. Right. Let's bring them in. We got to make sure they better be balanced. Better be balanced here. All right, guys. Hold on one second. Here we go. CNBC. Let's see what they're talking about concerning this stuff as well, man. All right. Let's see if they got some sense over here. Let's get it. Here we go.
The president is reacting to this rate cut. Eamon Javers joins us now. Eamon, what do we know?
Scott, that's right. Take a live look now at the Roosevelt Room over at the White House. The president is meeting with CEOs from the Technology CEO Council, including Michael Dell and other high-tech executives. He just gave his first reaction to the Fed rate cut in that meeting. He said it was too small. He said this rate cut could have at least been doubled. He was not impressed. He called the Federal Reserve Chair a stiff and said that the Fed is too focused on inflation and therefore they are killing growth by not lowering rates even more. So the first reaction.
That part I would agree on with President Trump is whenever the Fed, right? Whenever the Fed is afraid of inflation based on no data at all, but whenever they are afraid of inflation, what they typically do is they'll raise the rates. And they raise the rates to be able to curtail inflationary events, right? And so what's happening is I believe what they've been doing, Fed Chairman Powell and the Bamas up there at the Federal Reserve governors, what they've been doing is they placed a arbitrary, I think, false standard of 2% is our goal, 2%. Knowing that the most likely of a certain 2% is you can hit it, but it's slim to none. But with that being at 2%, that gives them the leeway to be able to say, okay, we see some inflation over here. Let's go and raise the rates again. And it curtails growth. Now, you have to be very careful with that because when it comes to if you lower the rates too aggressively, there can be an inflationary rate there as well. So I have to be balanced there. But I just believe that they're so concerned about inflation, but there's no data at all. And we're still under Biden's budget, right? Because Trump's budget comes into effect January of next year, right? That's when the new investments from the external investments are coming in worth trillions. The big, beautiful bill tax cuts come into place as well. Also, you have more regulation cuts, right? So you have, really Trump's agenda begins to be implemented next year because his budget goes into play. That's what's really going on. These guys, but let's listen to it. Here we go. Let's listen to it. These guys, man.
Action there from the president in real time. Also want to flag for you, Scott, a comment that the president made. He confirmed that the U.S. government has seized an oil tanker on the coast of Venezuela. He called it a large tanker, very large, largest one ever seized. So we have confirmation of that news now from the president of the United States. He also said other things are happening. So you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people. So we don't know exactly what the president was referring to when he talked about other things happening, potentially in the context of Venezuela, given how he expressed it, but he did confirm that the United States has seized an oil tanker. We expect to learn more about what tanker it was, on what basis it was seized, and what that means for U.S.-Venezuelan relations as well. Scott, back over to you.
First, the hot topic of the hour, President Trump touting a strong economy.
Okay. All right, guys. So that's what's going on there, guys. Trump is not happy about this at all, and I really can't blame him a little bit, but I have to be kind of cognizant of potential inflationary events, so to speak. So there's going to be a constant battle. That's why I believe that the new Fed chairman, when he gets into office, is going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think you'll see probably 4 or 5 cuts when the new chairman gets there and the new government gets there. It's going to be very aggressive. And you have the Genius Act, right? With the crypto, that actually goes into place next year as well also. So I think you're going to see a little bit more aggressive on this. Now, let's bring in an investor by the name of Kevin O'Leary, a real world investor, right? Not one of these theorists. Let's see what he talks about when it comes to the Federal Reserve Chairman. Here we go. Let's dive into it. Here we go. Let's get into it. Come on, let's go. Here we go. Boom. Let's go.
I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do. And again, they caused the high prices and we're bringing them down. It's a simple message. And we're bringing those prices down rapidly. Lower prices, bigger paychecks. You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting inflation. We're crushing it. I mean, the only thing that's really going up big, it's called the stock market and your 401ks.
That's President Trump in Pennsylvania this week, touting America's economic gains under his leadership. The president promising to keep lowering prices and inflation for the average American ahead of a challenging midterm election cycle. Now, yesterday, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the 3rd straight time by 25 basis points. We all expected that. Joining me now is O'Leary Ventures Chairman Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, great to see you. Welcome. Did the Fed make the right move? What is your expectation for the Fed in 26?
Listen.
I don't think we'll get any more rate cuts for quite a while.
Wow.
Inflation's 3.1%. This was a lot of dissent here. At least 3 said no. I don't recall in recent times that much dissent, which is telling you we're getting to a place where there's a lot of uncomfort. Yeah. Because remember this dual mandate, and you've been talking about it forever, Maria. The mandate's 2% inflation and full employment. We're at 3.1, and the tour the president's making now is about high cost affordability. That's sort of one of the metrics that's been winning elections, notably New York City, and that's a big warning sign. Yeah. And so what's going on here is a real debate within the Fed, and I really don't see Powell coming out of the new year and doing any more cuts.
I agree.
You're going to just keep getting more dissent because they don't see it going down. Either you make one or two decisions. You say the new normal is 3% inflation, which I don't think they're going to do.
No.
Or you stop cutting rates until it gets below 3%.
Yeah.
I like the point where you just said, basically changing the low basis point from 2 to 3%, and then you can begin making some cuts there. I believe that the new Fed chairman is going to do that. That's how he's going to justify getting more aggressive on it. Now with the Stable Act, right, or the Genius Act, with crypto being so involved, right, you're going to begin to see the Fed, I believe, acquiring more bonds, so to speak, or more government assets. And then I believe transferring that over to cryptocurrency. Watch. Again, they're going to inflate the debt away. Watch. That's what's going to cause them to be able to justify a lower interest rate, a lower cuts. Watch.
It's a good point, and you're probably going to have a similar dissent regardless of who the chairman is, right? I mean, you're saying no more rate cuts for a while. Well, then I push back and say, well, wait a minute. President Trump is going to, choose the next chairman of the Federal Reserve, who is likely in the same camp as President Trump, wanting rate cuts. Are you saying regardless of who the chairman is, like if it's Kevin Hassett in 2026, you still don't think we're going to get rate cuts because of the dissent on the board?
It's imperative for world markets and the debt market, particularly the issuance of long treasuries, that the Fed remain independent regardless of who the executive is. The whole world believes that's the case. It's not just what any executive wants or what any president wants. Fed bashing is sport in Washington. I love it. It's so entertaining. But the Fed never listens to the executive and never has. And the world believes that. If all of a sudden it was like the Supreme Court where you can drop in your own judge, and I think, you know, people understand how that works, whether it's conservative or liberal. You can't have that in the Fed. You just can't have it. Otherwise, the bond vigilantes, and you know who they are, come roaring back into town and bad outcomes occur. Right now, there's a lot of uncomfort around Hassett because even though he's a great economist, he has really been a spokesperson for low rates policy, which is not a bad job, except that's not what a lot of people want in the bond market for chair of the Fed. Now, the chair only gets one vote, but can be very persuasive. There's 19 votes. But it's not comfortable if you think the executive can actually manipulate rates. That's kind of got like a Venezuela vibe to it, Maria. Nobody likes it.
Good point.
Yes, he wants lower rates, but he's also a supply side economist. I mean, he's looking for the supply side of this economy to lead here. Mark, you want to weigh in here?
I would love to. Kevin, look, I agree with you. I believe that the Fed needs to maintain independence. That's crucial.
Okay, I agree with that.
But, you know, at the same point in time, you look at Jay Powell and just how far behind the curve and how wrong he's been over the course of the last several years.
Completely
Number
wrong.
one, calling inflation transitory. Then it goes up to 9.1%. Second thing, saying tariffs are inflationary. Well, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, the San Francisco Fed came out and said, oh my, look at this. Tariffs are actually deflationary because demand goes down. So, I mean, what do you have to say about that kind of a situation where we have a Fed who is constantly behind the curve?
I want to hear what he has
and
to say
they're
about this,
not
guys.
acting proactively.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Powell was a pandemic chair, and actually, if you held on to your shares of the S&P 500 during his mandate, you've done phenomenally well. So it's really hard to bash him for long-term outcome. And Fed bashing, as I said earlier, is just appropriate sport in Washington. But now it's a different situation because every chair gets criticized for being either too early or too late. That's always the case because all they can do is work off past data. But now I think we're in a situation where we've got a big spread between the mandate 2% and the reality of inflation 3.1. That's uncomfortable, and that's why these long rates are stubbornly staying up.
Well, look, you want to talk about politics and politics.
How is, and this may be a dumb question. Nah, never mind. Let's keep going.
Ticking at the Federal Reserve. Let's not forget cutting interest rates by 50 basis points and then cutting interest rates right before a presidential election and also jamming through all of these DEI policies in the Fed. But that's another conversation. I was thinking that the Fed meeting is going to be the last major event for markets of the year, but I'm changing my mind here because I think what's really going to be the big mover for the markets is this upcoming Supreme Court hearing and this upcoming Supreme Court decision, rather. The Supreme Court had its final hearing, the oral arguments of the year yesterday.
Okay, now they're going into terrorists. I won't bore you with that, guys. But I believe that Kevin has it right. I believe that they are going to most likely under the new Fed chairman. They're going to probably make the low standard go from 2 to 3, and that's going to justify the rate cuts. They're going to be using the Tax Cuts Act, which is the big beautiful bill, the Stable Act or Genius Act as well, more regulation cuts. You're going to see that actually come about, right? I think Chairman Powell has been guessing the whole time, and I think he's been doing that purposely. He's been the most politically motivated Fed chairman, I believe, in American history. Like I said before, he's not very vocal when it comes to his words, when it comes to his disdain of President Trump, but I believe his actions speak louder than his words. All right, guys. Now, let me pivot over real quickly, guys, from this over to a topic that actually came up, guys, that I want to talk with you guys. This is off of finance, but it has I believe major economic remedies or implications, I would say, because it's a hot topic. And to be honest with you, I'm mad at both sides of the freaking aisle when it comes to this, guys. It is birthright citizenship, right? Birthright citizenship. We're going to talk about that real quickly because this is a big deal, right? And the Supreme Court is listening to this right now. They've actually accepted the case to listen to oral arguments. Let's listen to what's going on. Let's see how they responded to the Supreme Court saying, we want to hear this.
Says it will hear an expedited appeal of President Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship by executive order. The court did not explain its decision, and the case will likely be heard next spring. For more than 100 years, courts, interpreted the Constitution to give U.S. citizenship to anyone born on American soil, regardless of the legal status of the parents. Now, that may hang in the balance. Our senior Washington correspondent, Devin Dwyer, joins me now. So this is clearly a huge deal and a lot's at stake, Devin.
A landmark case, Kira, and part of President Trump's immigration agenda, his crackdown he signed into law on the first day in office. And it's not the first time that the Supreme Court will look at this issue. You remember just about a year ago, the Supreme Court heard a case involving the president's attempt to end birthright citizenship. But at that time, the justices were squarely focused on whether individual courts around the country could block the order while the litigation continued. They ultimately said that nationwide injunctions were not okay, but judges found ways around them. That executive order remains on hold. Birthright citizenship is still the policy of the land, but now the president is back to the Supreme Court asking them to decide this issue on the merits. Even though, as you mentioned there in the intro, more than 100 years of legal precedent has established and reaffirmed that the Constitution does in fact spell out that anyone born on American soil is an American. And what
that's actually incorrect. That is actually wrong. I don't know if he's being negligent or he just doesn't know the facts. They're using in the Constitution where it says, I think it's Article 2. Hold on, let's listen to it. Hold on a second.
Justices said this afternoon is that they are now going to take it up, decide it once and for all, likely next spring, Kira, when they schedule the case and hand a decision down before the end of June.
So does the fact that the court will take up this case indicate how it might eventually rule on the issue?
It's a great question. Sometimes it does indicate that there's interest on the part of the court to overturn lower court decisions. But most legal analysts that I've talked to, Kira, say the reason the court is getting involved here is simply because of the magnitude of the issue, the attempt by President Trump repeatedly now to push this issue to the forefront. But all of the federal courts around the country that have looked at this issue in the past, 8-9 months since President Trump took office have all unanimously ruled that it is unconstitutional, it is illegal, and they've put it on hold.
And that's actually incorrect, guys. They are looking in the Constitution when it says subject to the jurisdiction thereof. They are interpreting, the liberal judges are interpreting that jurisdiction means that you are an American citizen or you are born in America, so to speak. That's how they're interpreted as you cross over illegally, right? And then what happens when you cross over illegally, if you actually have a baby over here, right, that baby being born on American soil is now an American citizen, and how they're interpreting that word jurisdiction. That's actually incorrect, because that word jurisdiction, back when it was written, was predicated upon slaves. Slavery. It was slaves when it came to jurisdiction. Had nothing to do with immigrants illegally crossing over, right? Illegally crossing over, then having babies. Say, oh, my baby is now a American, and now you have what they call anchor babies. No, that's not what it is. You can't come over here, guys, break a law coming into the United States, have a baby, and then get all of the rights, right? That American-born citizen actually gets, but you broke the law to get here. What the hell? You don't run your house that way. That doesn't make no damn sense. But I want to go over this really quickly because of the fact that this has significant economic ramifications as well. Because typically, immigrants coming over do a lot of those low-skilled jobs, and that's okay. That's fine if they want to do that. That's fine, and they're excellent at it. They really are. So again, be watching this case, guys, because it's going to really hinge on the word subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That word jurisdiction. That's going to be the big thing here. That word right there, jurisdiction. Because a lot of folks believe that right there is what determines if someone if they're born in the United States, that makes them automatically a U.S. citizen, no matter if their parents came over illegally. No, incorrect, trash, no levels. All right, guys. So that's what's going on there, guys. I think this was a really good topic to talk about, which is good. We got a lot going on in our nation, guys. A lot going on in our nation. All right, guys. So, guys, I'll be right back. We're gonna take a little bit of a break real quickly, guys. I'll be right back, and then we get it in. Here we go. What if you could help families lower their bills and get paid for it? Healthcare premiums, insurance rates, and loan interest just keep climbing higher. And most people just keep paying without knowing that there's a better way. We use a fintech platform that connects people to lower healthcare costs, competitive auto and home insurance, better loan products, higher yield bank deposits, and even ways to cut energy costs, all in one place. It's the same technology that banks and big corporations use currently. But now entrepreneurs like us can leverage this technology to build an income stream and help others save. Take our 30-second assessment to see if this business model is a fit for you. Click on the link, watch the short video after, and let's explore what's possible. All right, guys, let's dive into the next topic, guys. Man, foreclosure surges, guys. There is a surge going on, guys. When it comes to foreclosures, there's a really big surge going on. Is the housing market weakening? The answer is yes, it is. Let's dive into this foreclosure issue real quickly, guys, and see what's really going on, man. I think that there's some opportunity here for those that are smart enough to recognize how to take advantage of it. And we're going to dive into it real quickly. All right, guys, let's dive into this thing. Here we go. Oh, hold on one second. I thought I was playing. Hold on one second. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm sorry. Whoa, what's going on? I got you. Don't you worry about it. Boom. There we go. Boom.
Foreclosure rates continue to rise. Industry experts say while the numbers aren't historically alarming, they may signal broader trouble. CBS's Christian Benavides reports from Florida, which has the highest foreclosure rate in the country.
Wow, Florida.
This house is one of realtor Emily Odak's half-dozen foreclosure listings in South Florida, and more are in the pipeline.
We have properties that are behind the scenes that are about to become foreclosures, that are pre-foreclosures, that we are currently watching or may be in default.
Adam, a provider of nationwide property data, reported more than 35,000 foreclosure filings around the country in September.
When people aren't paying their mortgage per se, that indicates something broader in the market for us.
Foreclosure rates are up 20% compared to a year ago, and nowhere more so than Florida. Nevada also made the top 3. Both states were popular relocation areas during the pandemic.
What we don't know is if the folks that maybe were moving there for remote work during the COVID era are starting to see distress or not. But typically, it's older homes that are just going through traditional foreclosure processes.
The high cost of home insurance and rising HOA fees for condos are driving up prices for Florida homeowners, increasing the risk of foreclosures here.
Especially because of the Surfside tragedy. The city comes in, they check out the whole building for the past 30 years, what needed to be fixed, what needs to be fixed, and then they go and allocate special assessments to the homeowners, maybe a $1,500 extra a month.
Despite drawing some comparisons to the 2008 housing crash fueled by high-risk mortgages, real estate experts don't expect a repeat. Odak says it is still the right time to buy for somebody. Christian Benavides, CBS.
I agree, guys. That's in Florida, guys. That is correct. HOAs are going up higher, guys, because of the fact that I used to own a pretty big house in Florida, and I think I finished renovating that house. The HOA went from I think $30,000 to $200,000 in a year. because they replaced the entire decking outside where all the yachts were actually parked at, and it was $200,000 for HOA. And that's on top of the flood insurance. It's on top of the homeowners insurance, right? So he talked about insurance is going up and HOA is going up, guys. He's right. But what he didn't talk about was what people's DTI went up because people actually have higher, that they manufactured a pay raise, right, on their credit cards to where they add another liability to their balance sheet at the house, right? So when they actually go out and either want to refinance, right, and or buy a new home, because of that new debt, that new liability on their personal balance sheet, the DTI is higher. That's why you see a lot of lenders, right, with some government help, are raising that DTI percentage. Don't be surprised if it goes near 50%, if not over 50%. 50%. Watch. You're going to begin to see loosening of retail lending practices, specifically in 2026. Watch. It's coming. It is coming, guys. I can promise you that. But for those, then you have 50-year mortgages, portable mortgages, guys. You're beginning to see the loosening of lending criteria. Those that have that are wise enough to be able to pivot, right, or to manage that debt, right, the right way, are going to get immensely rich because they're properly leveraging, right, those properties, buying them at the right price point, because you make money when you own real estate when you buy. Now, when you sell, they're buying them right, forcing appreciation by renovation, right, going to long-term debt, and then they have creative financing stuff like leases, lease options, seller financing. Those three options right there are going to become very, very, very popular in 2026 and on forward. My whole strategy now, guys, are leases, really lease options, right, and seller financing. I love those three options. Leasing for my apartment complexes, lease options for someone that wants to really lease out a property before they actually buy it. Love that as well. And the seller financing. I love those three options there because they work in today's market. Because right now, people can't really afford the high interest rate. You look at them, probably 6.25%, right? And then you begin to see when it comes to new home builders, they're giving so many concessions, and they're allowing you to buy down the rate even more aggressively because they're really lending their own paper, right? And you begin to see a lot of home builders lease out a quarter of their portfolio right now because they have to. They have to, guys. So I tell y'all, guys, creativity is the key now. Those that are creative are going to make a ton of money. You really are. You are, guys. You are. All right. Now, let's bring in another guy real quickly. I call him Uncle G real quickly. He's talking about going down to 0% interest rates. This is possible. I believe President Trump is going to try to do this. I know he is. He's talked about it at length. Let's see what he's talking about. Here it is. Let's go.
Economist from Moody's, and he said that there's 22 states in the U.S. that's already in a recession. We're tipping into a recession, and there's also a few states that are propping up the economy. Florida is one of them, alongside Texas. What is Florida doing that other states aren't? I know there's immigration from other states that's potentially pulling capital in. What else?
Yeah. Well, we can't use the immigration word. There's positive migration from other states.
Okay. All right.
You know, because DeSantis doesn't like the immigration word here. But basically, we have positive migration because of blue, liberal, elitists. It's not even Democrat, because look, Miami's a Democrat city.
It is.
Okay. Palm Beach is actually a Democrat city. Fort Lauderdale's a Democrat city, but the state itself is Republican. Mm-hmm. It is conservative in nature. I mean, we do open carry here. That just got approved, David. You can literally put your Glock on your hip and walk into the grocery store.
Okay.
People like that down here. Mm-hmm. During COVID, we stayed open. The rest of the country closed. Ron DeSantis is trying to pass no property taxes. That'll be unbelievably popular, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
imagine not having to pay property taxes. We don't have income taxes. We have warm weather. We have tropics. Down in Miami, we're the only subtropics until you get down to the Caribbean. So there's a lot of things attracting people down here. And most of it is not pro-Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, I got to leave Chicago, Minneapolis, New York, New Jersey, and Boston because they're going crazy here. Even the Democrats are coming down here.
Well, you've argued, going back to real estate, you've argued that in the future, more and more people will be renting more than owning. Do you still hold that view? And if so, how are developers reacting, responding to this trend?
Well, look, this is the great change today, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
When I was a kid growing up, I'm a little older than you. But when I was growing up, if you were a renter, it meant that you were poor. Today, 11% of millionaires rent.
Correct.
They choose to rent.
That's correct.
It's about 4 times greater than it was 5 years ago.
Correct.
It's exploding, the number of people that actually choose to rent, not because of economics, but because of mobility and because of amenities.
Correct.
We have a project right now we're finishing fundraising on called the 101 Meisner or 10X Meisner Boca property. We combined Bitcoin with that asset. It's the largest real estate purchase in Boca this year and the largest real estate Bitcoin fund ever done on the planet. The average tenant there, or the average resident, makes over $500,000 a year, David. They're wealthy people. Half of them are from the Northeast, by the way. They came down here from New York City. They probably lived in one of those red brick buildings that was built in 1950 with maybe a little tiny view. And they moved, they were paying $6,000 a month in New York City for 600 square feet. They moved down here, they get 1,100 square feet. They pay $4,500 a month. They save money. They have views of the golf course, $40 million homes in the Atlantic Ocean, and every unit has a view. Mm-hmm. So these people are moving down here and choosing to be renters.
That's correct.
Then you have people your age, the young, the alphas, the betas, the Zs, the Gen, whatever you guys call yourself. What Gen are you?
I think I'm a millennial. Yeah, I'm a millennial.
Yeah, you're a millennial. So you guys are like, I don't want to buy a house. A house is not what I want to buy. I want to be able to travel. I can't afford a house maybe, or I want to travel. Or I haven't settled into my career yet. I don't have a family yet. So I would rather rent for 10 or 12 or 15 months and then figure out what I'm doing with my life. So you have 1/3 of the population that's baby boomers that doesn't need to own a home. 1/3 that's the youth and they don't want to own. And I think we have a flip model where we end up with 60% renters in America and 40% owners.
Well, I think you've said before, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm paraphrasing here, cash is trash, real estate is freedom, but with interest rates this high, has the game changed?
Well, rates are coming down right now, dude. Like 2-year, the 3-year, the 5-year, and the 7-year, and the 10-year are all hitting lows right now. I think the 10-year hit a low from last April. Donald Trump, and I've been saying this for a while now, he's replacing the Fed. He's going to get his team in. He's going to get rid of Jerome. In fact, we hadn't heard from Jerome Powell since Trump visited the White House and called him out for spending too much money on that expansion he's doing. We haven't heard from Jerome Powell in about 45 days. He'll be gone in May. Interest rates will be 0 by June of next year. That's my prediction.
Interest rates on what exactly?
So he believes
mortgage rate?
No, mortgage rates will be somewhere under 3.5% by June of next year.
So you think whoever Trump puts in the Fed,
we're going to get as close to 0 as Trump can get them.
Wow, what
they're going to fall off a cliff, man.
So asset price explosion. That's what happened last time.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we necessarily have. I don't think we necessarily have an immediate asset. I think we're going to find out just how weak the planet is. I think China's showing tremendous weakness right now, globally.
So what Grant is saying is he believes that when the new Fed chairman gets in, that he would be very aggressive, right? And the bond rate go down to 0, and he said mortgage rates to get around like 3%. I disagree to get that low. I think that between the 4.5 to 5.5 rate is probably going to be the sweet spot for us, to be honest with you, which means most likely the bond rate is probably going to be around about, if you had 4.5, you had probably 2.5, maybe 2%, maybe 1.5%. I don't see 0%. I can see Trump trying that. because he's that bold, I would say. Because I think, excuse me, my friends, I think he's gonna go balls to the wall. To be honest with you, when it comes to being aggressive in 2026, when it comes to the real estate market, because that's his space. He knows it extremely well. He is the GOAT, in my opinion, when it comes to real estate. He is the GOAT. Trump is. He is. Not based on the bias. Look at his track record. My Lord, I mean, look at it. And everything is driven by mortgage rates. Now, how would it get to 0%? I believe what they're going to end up doing, guys, is this here. I believe they are going to, what Trump's going to do to get to a 0% is, I believe, number one, I think that the Fed is going to acquire more bonds, which is normal for them. They're going to use a lot of QE and move that debt over to the crypto side. That because of the Genius Act, right? They're going to flip that away. Is what they're going to do, and I believe what they're going to do to drive more volume when it comes to real estate is, right now the government sponsors VA and FHA. What that means is basically the takeout partner for banks. Those two loan products is the government. So basically, it's zero risk to the banks at all. That's why they love them, right? That's why you pay the lowest rate. There's no risk for the bank. But when it comes to conventional, that's 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% down, that is more riskier to the banks because they have to find a secondary takeout partner, and it's not the government. I believe what they're going to do is they're going to expand that government sponsoring product from FHA to VA, and I believe 5% is going to be most likely government sponsored, maybe even 10% down. Watch, because they have what they call down payment assistance, or DPAs, in cities and counties and states all over the nation. They're going to use that model, I believe, and for them to be able to churn out more loans, you're going to begin to see a lot more heavy crypto involved in the lending process. Watch. You see them do 50-year mortgages now. Hello? I think it's going to be even more aggressive, even more up there. Retail buyers can now use cryptocurrency as an asset to put on their balance sheet to qualify for a mortgage. They're trying to make people more bankable, right? And to make it easier to get a home loan. That's what's happening, guys. That's just my opinion. I think we get down to 0%, like Grant was saying. No, as far as the government rate, no. I think we probably get down to maybe 2.5. Yeah, maybe 1.5, I would say. We should leave it at 4.5 to 5%. This is really prime plus 2. They probably do prime plus 3. But I believe that's what's going to happen, guys. They have to get very, very creative with this, and I believe that they are. But I believe they have the right people there to get this accomplished. All right, guys. Man, again, I'm a real estate investor and private equity investor. This is my space. I love it, guys. Guys, we'll be right back real fast. We come back with our last topic. Here we go. Still working 40+ hours a week and still broke. Inflation's outpacing your wages. Insurance is insane. And your side hustle just isn't cutting it. What if I told you there was a way for you to build income by leveraging and using the exact same technology that banks and big corporations currently use right now, with no inventory and no tech skills needed? We have helped hundreds escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap by sharing smarter services like lower cost healthcare, competitive auto and home insurance, better loan products, higher yield bank deposits, and even ways to cut energy costs, all in one place. Take this 30-second quiz to see if you qualify. Click on the link below or click on the link in my bio. All right, guys, we're back, guys. Man, this next topic, guys, the last one for the night, guys. Thanks for kicking with your partner. Is really about money, stress, and prenups. As you guys know, I am a believer in Christ Jesus. He is my Lord and Savior. And I did a teaching on this. It's not teaching, but it's more of a talk last week concerning prenups. And I ran into some stats, guys, on prenups, guys. Prenups, guys, if you look at the stats when it comes to prenups, is a lot of divorce centers really around money. Money is really the biggest stress. It's one of the core issues arising in relationships that's really causing the crisis. Now, when you look at a prenup, right? A prenup, guys, if you look at the numbers between divorces of marriages that don't have prenups and divorces that have prenups, it realistically, it's a lower percentage of divorces actually happen with marriages that have prenup. Now, I have to be honest here. The number of marriages that have prenups, or number of marriages that actually have prenups, are minuscule to number of marriages that do not have prenups. So it's kind of an unfair type of balance there. But I want to dive in this real quickly, guys. I'm very vocal about this, but I'm open to being persuaded. There's arguments in the Christian faith, right? And really what I can bring in the Bible, pro prenups and anti prenups, but it all centers around money. No matter if you have a prenup or not, it all centers around money, and both keeps really stewardship, right? So let's listen to a guy I respect. I think I disagree with him on this point, maybe a little bit, but he believes that you should actually have a prenup, and he is a believer. He is a Christian as well. So let's dive in this. It's my man PBD, Patrick Bet David. He's talking about prenups, guys. Let's dive in this thing. Here we go. Let's get into it.
Why I believe getting a prenuptial agreement may be one of the best things you can do for your marriage. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're saying, what the hell is he talking about? Just brace for impact, take a deep breath, watch this video together. There's a likelihood you're gonna argue afterwards. But if I do make sense to you in this video, before you argue, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So let's get right into it. So stick around to the very end. I'm gonna give you a lot of different stats and 8 reasons why you ought to consider getting a prenup, but let's get right into it. So look, I've been running a business for 20 plus years. Business is very hard, right? I've been in the insurance space over 2 decades. The whole concept about insurance isn't buying auto insurance because you're gonna get into a car accident. You don't buy a life insurance because you're gonna die tomorrow. You buy auto insurance that in case you get into a car accident or somebody hits you, you're protected. You buy life insurance that in case you die tomorrow or next week or next year while you have a wife or a husband and kids, they're at least taken care of. The same thing as goes with insurance is the same thing that goes with prenup. Look at prenuptial agreements or postnuptial agreements as a form of insurance. So now, let me give you some stats when it comes down to marriage and divorces. So only 5% of folks who get a divorce had a prenup. Of the people that got a divorce, 15% of them wish they would have set up a prenup. So now when you look at these stats and divorces in America, 41% of first marriages end up at a divorce. But watch what happens to the stats. 60% of second marriages and 73% of third marriages, which means if your first marriage didn't work out and you didn't have a prenup, fine, but don't do it on your second or your third. So now let me continue. A few other things you need to know when it comes down to marriage. The average marriage in America lasts 8 years. And aside from that, every 16 seconds, somebody gets married in America, and every 42 seconds, someone's getting a divorce in America. So now prenuptial, nuptial agreements, Pat, I don't get it. Are we talking about divorces here today? Let me give you one of the most important reasons why you ought to get a nuptial agreement. It's simply to avoid future arguments. For example, most of the time when you talk about, well, why would somebody get a nuptial agreement? Do you not trust me? It's the famous line when somebody wants to set up a nuptial agreement. You must not trust me. You don't trust me. My mom told me you don't trust me. All you care about is money. If somebody starts saying stuff like that, that's a very deep, concerning thing, because what do you mean I don't trust you? We've only known each other for 2 years. We've only known each other for a year. Nowadays, most people get married online. Most people meet each other online. I don't have the same years of experience with you if I would have met you through a family member or a friend or a coworker. There is a lot of risk today in marriage, more than ever before, because people are more than ever marrying somebody that they know the least amount, where before at least we knew more about the person that we're getting married. So having said that, I'll give you 2 stories and I'll get into the 2 points.
Well, I would say this here is he's making some valid points when it comes to the tenure of knowing somebody. the trust aspect question concerning if you want me to sign a prenuptial agreement, do you not trust me? That's a logical question. And then him saying, well, if you don't want to sign it, that's another logical question. So now what's happening is you have a conflict there. You have this in the context of there's a prenuptial agreement being presented. One side, the one that's actually been asked to sign it, saying, you want me to sign this document? You don't trust me, right? And so, which is a logical question. And the other side is like, wait a minute, you don't want to sign it, what's going on with that? Should I trust you? So now you're seeing the seeds of potentially character flaws on both sides, right? I'm almost looking at the heart of the issue. Okay, if someone is asking me to sign a prenuptial agreement, my first question is, why? I want to understand the real reason behind it. And at the exact same time, someone that's asking me to sign it, that's asked me, why don't you want to sign it? These are logical questions that we have to begin to reason over, because the scripture does say, esteem your brother or sister higher than yourself, right? It does say in Genesis that the two shall become one flesh. So you're growing into oneness. You guys are bringing baggage, assets, money, intellect, character, habits into a marriage. So you're bringing a lot of variables there. So these stuff have to be discussed. And he's right. You're dating someone for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, right? And you've been on this earth for, let's say, you're 30 or 40 years old. It's impossible for someone to know you completely if you are 30 years old. They've only known you for 3 years. You see that? That's impossible to really know somebody. So these are logical questions, and I'll give you my point. I'm just reasoning with him as he's making his presentation. Here we go.
So Jackie O, John F. Kennedy's wife, she's widowed. Okay. So while she's about to marry Onassis, who's a very successful businessman at the time, I think he's a billionaire, very well known, very successful, and he has always liked Jackie. They finally agreed to get married, and one of the clauses Jackie gets to put in the agreement, the nuptial agreement, is for each year that Jackie is married to him, if he divorces her, she gets $10 million. That's part of the agreement. She was able to negotiate a lot of different things. So was he. He had great attorneys. She had great attorneys. So we get married. Look, I'm a first lady. If I'm going to risk marrying somebody like you, there's risk for marrying a playboy like you. I got to be protected. Per year I'm married to, I get $10 million. Now that's that time, by the way, 64, 65, 66. Compared to today, that's a lot of money, right? Salma Hayek is another one. She gets married to a billionaire. Okay. I believe they had a kid together. I even believe there's a contract in their agreement that per kid it was a certain number, $17 million. I don't remember the exact number, but there's something there. Now somebody may say, oh my God, look, that's fake. That's not real love. What do you call that? Is that real love? That's not real love. The way I got married was real love. Oh, really? Yeah, okay, because you don't think about the fact that life happens after we get married, after you have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, travel, in-laws, issues. You and I cannot predict that the other person's going to change or not. You can't predict if I'm going to change, and I cannot predict that you're going to change. Of course, we're loving each other. We're getting married, but then life happens, and marriage sometimes turns into a business, and then there's money. So now, 8 reasons to why I set up a prenuptial agreement. One of them, for me, prevent future arguments. What do I mean by this? Well, when getting married, I try to teach this from people that I've watched very closely and people that I, consult with, is I like to have 3 different accounts. One account is our account, okay? And our account, the money is spent to pay the bills, the money is spent for our kids, the money is spent for our food. It's everything that's our. Then there's her account, then there is his account, right? Her account, she wants to go buy 3 Louis Vuitton purses. It's your money, do it. You want to go spend money on one of your cousins that I really don't like, and she always asks you for money. And instead of you asking me for the money, you don't even have to ask me anymore. You just give your cousin $10,000 out of your money, but not my money and not our money, instead your money. Because when it's your money, it's a different story. Now, when birthday comes up, if you don't set it up this way and say your wife buys you a gift or your husband buys you a gift out of our money, It's not really a gift. You're like, oh, babe, here's what I got for you. Yeah, babe, I saw it on the credit card the other day. I kind of know what you were getting me. And it's not like you felt the real pain because you're spending it out of our money, right? But isn't that how it's supposed to be? Well, if I buy it out of my money, it's very different. If she buys it out of her money, it's very different because she's like, you know, babe, what? She got this for me? This is awesome, babe. And I'm telling you from somebody who has lived this, like what I'm telling you is how I live my life. It feels amazing when it's coming out of her money, and feels amazing when I buy her something out of my money. So number one, prevents future arguments. Number two, protect separate property. What does this mean? So let's just say if hypothetically we're getting married, and prior to getting married, she owned 3 properties. I never bought those properties. Those are her properties. They're not my properties. No problem. Hey, babe, the nuptial agreement, those properties I bought before we got married. Matter of fact, one of them was given to me through my dad. That's my property. Okay, and whatever we do together is going to be ours, but these 3 properties are my property. You write a nuptial agreement. She's right. Those properties I never bought. She bought, and it's my property. Fantastic. You sign it, or vice versa if it's his or if it's hers. Well, you know, that company, I was running that company before, and I'm just telling you that company is going to be mine. So here's how it's going to be set up. This is my company. I was building it way before you. Okay, that totally makes sense. These collectibles, I had this art that I had, this collectible card I have, whatever it may be. You write it out on whatever it was, personal property assets, so it's separated. Nobody can fight and bicker over it later on. Number 3, say.
That part I disagree with, guys, on that one, because of the fact that if you're coming into the marriage and it's, again, my baseline is Genesis chapter 1, and the 2 shall become 1, right? And the 2 shall become 1. I would say, if you're saying, well, this is my money, this is my property, this is my business, when does the oneness begin? When does it? That would be my question. What is the reason why you want to keep these separate? Now, you might say, well, I bought it before we got together. I understand, no problem with it at all. But I would say I developed some character flaws or some habits that I bring into the marriage. Do I not do those habits at all, period? And just disown those, even if they go to bad, because they may not match well with you. There's a lot of things that you're bringing into the marriage, guys, that's a part of the journey of getting to know someone, growing into oneness. What's yours is hers, and what's hers is yours. Now, some people are going to say, well, Adele, what if someone is trying to get to the bag by marrying you? I agree with that. And that's where the tension is, because we're in a very litigious society right now. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying. I really do. How do you go out from that? And I'm gonna give you my answer in a second of what it should be. Let's keep it going. Nice. I'm gonna separate it. Here we go.
You marry somebody who's coming with $150,000 of debt. If you don't clarify that, that's officially both of your debt. But if you put in a nuptial agreement and say, listen, that $150,000 of debt, that's your debt. That's not my debt. That is your debt. And that's in our agreement. This is your debt. No problem. I totally get it.
I disagree.
I'm willing to marry, but babe, $150,000 of debt, I didn't have it a day before I got married. I don't want to all of a sudden get a $150,000 credit card debt. It's too much pressure on the marriage. It's too much pressure on me. I'll choose to help you out if I choose to help you out, but I don't want to be forced to have to handle that $150,000. Okay, fine, no problem. You write it out, it's in place, both parties know, we're good to go. Number 4 is revolving around issues having to do with children from prior marriages. So say you get married. Hey, this is our son, it's my stepson, I'm going to treat him like my son, but that's also your son from a prior marriage. How do we want to handle some of the finances? These are your 2 kids. How do we want to handle this? The man may say, I'm going to take care of them like my own kids. Okay, then we don't even need to put that in a nuptial agreement. But no, these are my kids. Okay, then the responsibilities with your kids, if they do XYZ financially, this is on you, or this is on me. I got 5 kids, you got 2 kids. Is it fair for you to have to support all the 5 and all this stuff? Well, no, the other 3 are living with the dad. The other 2 are living with the mom, whatever it may be. But that's got to be in the nuptial agreement so it doesn't create future arguments. When my dad didn't get remarried, one day I'm sitting down with him. I said, why don't you ever get remarried? He says, I did not want to have the new wife create issues with my existing kids that I have with the two of you. I have a great relationship with you. I did not want to have more issues with you. So I dated, but I never got remarried. Sometimes kids from prior marriages can cause a lot of friction. And one person can say, it's the magical question. You ready? Who do you love more? Me or your kids? What does a parent say? What do you mean, who do I love more? I'm your wife. You don't love me? I had my kids before. You don't even want to have that conversation. You write it out, you put it in there. It prevents future arguments.
Well, I disagree on that one, because when you say I do, and this is in the context of stepchildren, when you say I do, your first responsibility is the spouse. The kids come second. Say it again. When you say I do, your first responsibility is the spouse. The kids come second. Too many times I see in marriages, right, to where you say I do, have children, and then the children become the focal point of the marriage and not the spouse. That was not the vow you made from the Lord. It says you vow to love, honor, cherish, and so on and so forth. Guys, to death do you part. That wasn't to the kids, that was to the spouse. Right? So therefore it should be the spouses, which is husband and wife, and the kids come second. I disagree with that 1,000% when it comes to that.
Number 5, the benefit of setting up a prenup now is you're preventing yourself from overpaying later on to legal fees. So everything's on a piece of paper while you're sitting there and you know what's going to be happening, because later on, here's what lawyers are going to do. You ever seen the movie Wedding Crasher, where Vince Vaughn was a divorce attorney and he would sit there and you can tell, hey, you're pushing back and forth. The longer a divorce drags out, the more lawyers make money. And you better believe the two people that are on the same team behind closed doors, wink, wink, is his lawyer and it's her lawyer, because all they want to do is lengthen more fights so it's more billable hours, the more money they make. But when you come to a lawyer and say, hey, we already have this agreement in place. Oh, shoot, these guys, instead of having to spend $50,000 in legal fees and divorce fees, they spend $5,000 by setting up a prenup up front. These guys were prepared for it. Not saying you're going to get a divorce, but later on, if it does get to that point, you will save yourself tens of thousands of dollars of legal fees. Point number 6, child expenses that you guys are both going to have together, not prior marriages, but your child. So say, for instance, you have 3 kids. Okay, so what's going to happen? Who's going to pay for college tuition for the kids? Who's going to pay for health costs? That's expensive. Are you going to pay for it? Are you going to structure it that way? Sometimes you'll notice, hey, if we have 3 kids, 2 of them live with me, 1 of them live with you, I pay for 66% of college, you pay for a third. Okay, sounds good. What if the husband, they have 3 kids, and then all of a sudden there's a divorce that takes place, but the wife stays single, she's not cohabitating with anybody, maybe the husband supports. But if the wife gets married and is cohabitating with somebody, well, then that man's got to take care of stuff. Maybe I will only help 50%. All of those details are easily written in a nuptial agreement on how you want to handle college expenses, clothes per year, school tuition, any of that stuff can put in the nuptial agreement. Number 7 is alimony. So you can write it in there and say, look, if I'm the breadwinner, you're not. If I'm raising your 3 kids, what about income? I have not been working for 4 years, so my market value has dropped. How am I protected to get an income? That's a very good argument. So you got to put it down. I totally understand if that does happen. Here's what we would do, depending on what income I'm making at that time. I don't know what income I'm going to make. What if we lose everything? What if I file bankruptcy? It has to be different based on the amount of money that I have and the amount of money that I make. You can't put me in a corner, where I'm going to be filing bankruptcy, losing everything, and I have to live in a 1-bedroom apartment because 90% of my income is going to you. Everything has to be written in a way that neither the income earner is getting destroyed nor the individuals that's taking care of the kids. It has to be fair to the party based on the current financial situation they are when the potential divorce happens. Point number 8 is to protect your inheritance. Let's just say you come from a wealthy family. Your dad, your mom, they have money, $50 million, $100 million, $10 million, $1 billion, whatever the number may be. Say, look, I'm protecting against this because sometimes the parents want you to get a nuptial agreement because they're concerned that the spouse may be trying to get to that money. So in many cases, family may say, we'll fund your wedding, but you have to have a nuptial agreement. And in the agreement, your inheritance going to your grandkids. Of course, some of that has to do with a trust and how you write your living trust. But in the nuptial, you can protect yourself to say, whatever inheritance I'm getting from my family, that's coming to me, not to you. I can give it to the kids, but it's to me and the kids, not to you. Whether it's the wife who's married to, who's got a family that's wealthy, or the husband, that is also sometimes written in a nuptial agreement. I'm gonna give you a bonus point. It's not really one of the 8, but the bonus point is you can update your nuptial agreement every 5 years. Say you're married and you're like, you know what? He helped me a lot with my company that I was running before him. I think he deserves 10% equity in the company. I think she deserves 10%. She's actually helped me grow that company. Hey, I want to change it up. What do you want to do? I want to give 10% of the company to you, because without you, the company would have gone to where it's at right now. That's awesome. It actually works the other way as well. The more the person's earning trust of you or the other, you can choose to adjust the nuptial agreement. There is nothing wrong with that. You can do that at any point, because both parties are now working to say, look, and the whole purpose of nuptial is to say, look, man, I really want to be with you. I'm telling you, I'm fully committed. I'm in it. I'm not with you for your money. I want to build a life with you. That's what I want to do, okay? And I cannot believe the last 5 years, life wouldn't be where it's at without you. So guess what? Let's change it up. That happens all the time as well. I've done this myself, but that happens all the time as well when it comes down to nuptial agreement. So now, if you're still watching this, and your husband first watched it, then he said, babe, I think you should watch this video and see what Pat has to say. Or if you watch and say, babe, you told your husband, I think you need to watch.
So here's what I would say. I like the presentation that he actually gave, Pastor gave. Do I agree with all of his points? No, at all. Here's what I would say. Here's my thought process behind this. If you are a believer in Christ, you are a Christian, walking faithfully with the Lord Jesus Christ, right? This right here, this is the Bible. This is our prenuptial agreement. Right here. It begins and ends here. Okay? I'm saying it again. If you are a believer in Christ Jesus, Christ is your king. You are a Christian, right? Christ follower. Your prenuptial agreement begins and ends here. It's called the Bible, right? Too many times we man, which is women and men, love to invent our own things and then put God's name on top of it. No. If it doesn't begin here, I don't have nothing to do with it. Why? Because his ways are not my ways. His thoughts are not my thoughts. I have to go to the Creator and ask him, hey, Lord, in this area, what should we do here? Now, there's some areas in the scriptures, right, that it may not speak loudly on. For instance, company percentage, right? I'm going to use that as an example. It didn't say, thou shalt give the spouse this amount of equity in that. No, not at all. It's a heart issue for me, right? What is motivating you to want to have this prenuptial agreement? What is it? And the thing about it is a lot of you saying this is my company. No, I own nothing. He's the owner. I'm just a steward of what he's put me over. So therefore, how dare I try to dictate, right, ownership when I'm disqualified to even be an owner, right? Even our definition of ownership is flawed. It's not what you buy because you're buying something that's already created. It's what you actually create from scratch. So there's no one on this earth that is a original owner. No one is. We're stewards, not owners. And that's the problem that I see a lot of times. So I see what he's saying when it comes to talking about problems, issues that may arise. But if I would say, be careful with these prenuptial agreements, because if your heart posture is not right and it doesn't begin and end with scripture, right, it could be some issues. Now, the exact same on the flip side, if you don't want a prenuptial agreement, but you're not talking about these things up front, guys, that's also a problem, because money is the number one issue for divorce. Number one, whether you have a prenuptial agreement or not. And to be honest with you guys, just because you have a prenuptial agreement doesn't mean that you're ironclad protected, because there's been a lot of celebrities that have prenuptial agreements and they went in front of a certain judge and they actually had good counsel, the opposing side. And what happened then is what? That prenuptial agreement got pierced. Just keeping it 1,000 with you guys. That is a possibility. So I come down to the issue is just like when it came to someone getting tattoos, right? That's another discussion when it comes to the Bible. Same thing when it comes to prenuptial agreements. What's motivating you to want to have this prenuptial agreement? Give me the motivation. Give it to me. How does this esteem me higher than you? How are you serving me here? Let's talk about the heart posture. Once you unpack the heart posture, then we let the Holy Spirit lead. Real simple. Through it all, we allow the Spirit of the Lord to lead. It's real simple, guys. So I would love to talk to Patrick about this, and I probably will. And to sit down and actually have a really good discussion with him on this because I hear his points. Do I agree with them all? No, I don't. I don't at all. But at the same time, guys, it's you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with these standards, man. Real simple. Guys, man, that's all I have for today, man. Thank you guys for kicking with your partner, man. Real fast, guys, man. This was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a good time with me today as well. I'm losing my voice a little bit. Forgive me, guys. Let me go back to one thing real fast. Give me 1 second. All right, guys. Now, real quick, guys, do me a favor, guys. Like and share. Subscribe to this, guys. So this helps with the algorithm. Press a like for it. If you have any comments, guys, about any of the topics, let me know. Now, guys, I'm on an app called Connect. If you wanted to talk to me about anything at all concerning real estate, life, marriage, reach out to your partner, man. Do me a favor. You can FaceTime and you can have a video conference with me. You can text me. It's right here, guys. Real simple. Scan the QR code right here or in the show notes. There's a link down in the show notes, guys. Click on it. It's right there, guys. All right. Talk to me anytime you want to talk to me. There are doers and interesting. There's doers and doers. Gotcha. Okay, no problem. But guys, again, getting back to it. If you have any questions for me, hit me up on my neck. All right, guys. Number 2, guys. Let me get rid of this real fast, guys. My bad, y'all. Number 2, guys, real quickly. You know, I am a real estate developer and private equity investor, right? By God's grace, I own a lot of real estate, by God's grace, right? I will say this here is now to me is the greatest time to buy real estate right now. It's the greatest time, right? But you make money on the buy, not when you sell. Okay? You make money on the buy, not when you sell. Now, what property should you buy? They call distressed properties for a reason, right? So if those that actually learn the skill of locating distressed properties in your city, county, or state, and you can make a whole bunch of money. I'm giving away a free ebook, guys. It's called Distressed Property Investing, right? You get access to this free ebook in 3 ways. DM me the word real estate. My team will get you the link out today. Scan on the QR code on the screen or the show notes below, guys. Click on the link below, guys, and go to it. You'll take a quick survey, and you'll be able to download the ebook. It's right there. If you're wanting me to walk you through the ebook as well, because we do have a training on that as well, you have an option also to walk with myself and Cliff, a licensed appraiser, through this book. We talk to you about how to locate distressed properties in any market. It's right there, guys. It's free, guys. Lastly, guys, you may say, Dale, I am not a real estate guy. I'm rocking with you. No problem with it at all. I'm going to make a statement right now, guys, that you may not understand, but it may shock you. The regular 9-to-5 job is going to become obsolete. Almost obsolete. I'm sorry, forgive me. Let me stop. The number of 9-to-5 jobs are going to become, they're going to begin to get diminished, because as technology speeds up things and makes more things more robust and more efficient, right? It allows for the business owners or companies to save on operational costs, right? Which means you may be escorted out the front door. How do you guard from that? You begin a side hustle. It's real simple, guys. There's a term called fintech, financial technology, guys. This is the next wave of the working professional, guys, right? It's a side hustle. It's a home business or a side hustle, guys. Reading the fintech model way, guys, financial technology, guys. All right. If you want to learn a little bit more about financial technology when it comes to banking, insurance, guys, energy, home services, health insurance. You want to learn what this is about, guys. It's a free video. Go watch it, guys. You can get access to it in 3 different ways. DM me the word mentor. Scan on the QR code right here on the screen or the link below, guys. And show notes, click on the link right there, guys. Go right to it. It is a free video. If the model works well for you, great. If it does, great. Let's talk. If it does not, I understand. It is what it is. All I'm saying is this here is, for me, I think it's wise to make some income off of health insurance, homeowners insurance, investor loans, car loans. We're talking about percentages, monthly, energy, right? Health insurance. It's all right there, guys. It's real simple, guys. It's free. All right, guys. But guys, that's all I have for today, guys. Again, do me a favor, guys. Like and share and subscribe, guys. It's right here, guys. Thank you so much for kicking with your partner. You know, I end it every single time. Oh, my bad, guys. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., we have Real Estate Friday Live. We call it the Investor Edge. It's me and Cliff. Here's a sneak peek of it. Here we go. What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
Guys, real estate. Oh, what's going on here? What is going on? Hold on, your mic is muted. Hold on, guys. What's going on? Uh-oh. Hold on. Guys, I don't know what happened. The camera just froze, but it is what it is, guys. It's all good, guys. I'm back, guys. Again, guys, we have Real Estate Friday Live tomorrow at 5 p.m. CST, guys. Again, my colors. Y'all got to get my colors right, man. My bad. Y'all got to get my colors right. Anyways, guys, 5 p.m. tomorrow CST, right? We have Real Estate Friday Live. Come kick it with me and Cliff. We're talking about all things real estate, guys. All things real estate. Well, guys, thanks so much for your time. God bless you guys. See you guys tomorrow, guys. Again, do me a favor, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. God bless you. You know I end every single time before you leave them while you can, baby. You see that thing. Take that picture for your mom and them. All right, partner. God bless you guys. See you guys next week. All right, guys. Peace.
Okay, so you did fixes and flips first, or were they? Now it sounds like you're more buying whole. Okay, so you were wholesaling first. Okay,
because I was broke. I had no credit. I had no money, so I had to get some money coming in. So I learned how to do wholesale.
And you were doing wholesaling at the good time too. 2000. When it wasn't so saturated. There was.
I kind of saw the debacle coming. Okay, it didn't make any sense. I was like, wait a minute, how can you lend out to retail buyers 99.7%?
Yeah,
just a little bit of a down tick. It's insolvent.
And you got to remember, in some states, because I lived in Florida at the time, you could have loan to value above 100% of your property.
Right.
The first property that I bought, it was 110%. We left the bank with like $30,000.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It was amazing to me. I was like, why am I not doing this all the time? But then clearly 0809 let me know why people shouldn't have been doing that all the time.
0809, that's why I made that lion's share of my money.
Wow. Okay.
Actually running from the cows, I was running to it.
Of course.
Because I saw it was coming.
Okay.
A lot of my business colleagues back then were buying flippers.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was wise for me to share 50% of my profit with Uncle Sam. He didn't do no work.
Okay.
So why would I give him free money?
Of course.
Okay, how can I make sure I'm still legal, but keep the lion's share of the cash flow?
Of course.
So I began studying the tax code with my accountants and CPAs, and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a whole lot of properties. Now watch this. I actually buy a lot of properties, and I take home money when I actually acquire it. every single time.
Okay, you need to break that down just a little bit.
If you'd like to learn how successful real estate investors make money when they acquire real estate, but not when they sell it, click on the link below, swipe up, DM me the word real estate to download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed. I'll let your partner and download the ebook today.